Hi there, and thanks for tuning in. This is my test ride of the BMW Urban GS. I've only got the bike for about half an hour. This is pretty standard normal test ride time. All you've got to do is turn up, say hi to the kind folks at Wellin BMW, and I'm sure they can sort you out with whatever you need. This is the bike, it's the BMW Urban GS, and it's got extra gold rims, which aren't a standard feature, and it's got a demo number plate, but apart from that, totally stock. So, let's go for a ride. I'll get off in about 5 minutes, and I'll show you a bit more of the bike. Let's go. Brilliant. Whoa! That is exciting. Down the gigantic stand. Oh wow, what a weird seating position. That's amazing. Just to say now, there are a few people who can pick up the sound of this bike properly on videos. I've watched quite a few YouTube reviews before I decided to book a test ride for myself, and there's very few videos that actually bring up the audio properly. In person, I don't hear any of this intake noise. It's going to sound like the bike's struggling all the time. Didn't sound like that at all in person. In terms of weight of the bike, feels like I'm just back on the Suzuki Bandit. It's about 230 kilograms wet, and personally I didn't really notice any of that at all. The only thing I noticed was the slight height of the bike, but the Street Twin is known for being quite low, and for me the Street Twin feels like a big 125. So what I'll do now, I'll try and U-turn it. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today I've got the Urban GS with me. The Urban GS is a 1200 Boxster powered by a shaft drive. I feel like I'm sat on it rather than being a part of it, but my first initial impressions are amazing. I've got a massive smile on my face. It pops and it crackles, and just there the weight is noticeable, but of course this is a huge engine compared to what I've got already. So I'll show you around this side. And then what I'll do, I'll take you around the other side as well. And here we go, that's the other side too. A bit uglier on this side, but it's a shame that that exhaust hides the single-sided swing arm. Hopefully you've got an idea of the rock and roll there. Anyway, I haven't got long, I was late to the test ride. And I'm not getting a full hour anyway, so let me jump on it and I'll show you some more. Noticeably heavy, but not the worst in the world. Whoa! And I'm not exaggerating that, it's just how the engine goes like this, and then it all shakes. But that's not me exaggerating that at all, it's how it happens. Anyway, let's stop ruining Wellin and I'll get out. BMW, of course. Come on. Oh. Thank you. Oh, I hope you're getting these boxing handles. Oh, I started to wonder if this is what the bike sounds like throughout the rev range. I believe I'm in 3rd gear here. What I'll do now, I'll swap to 4th gear and you'll be able to hear the difference between riding the bike a bit loud and being in the right gear, making the exhaust a bit quieter. I think this is a massive difference between being a hooligan on Sundays and having this bike with you for a few weeks on an adventure. Go forward.
2 very boring minutes later.
After some very hesitant drivers at the roundabout, it was a good time to move onto the faster roads. After getting the bike into the right gear, I took it on some faster roads. I'm riding this on the road version of the tyres. I don't know what they're called. That's not something that interests me, to be honest with you. But if you want knobbly tyres and you're buying the bike brand new, that is an optional free extra. So you can either choose knobbly tyres or road tyres. And I would have loved to stay on this road a little bit more. You can see after 10 minutes I'm already confidently dipping this into the corners. This was noticeable both on the mini roundabouts in town and on the faster national speed limit roads like we are doing here. So sadly this is only a test ride. BMW normally give you 45 minutes, the boss wanted me back a little bit earlier, and to be fair, it was so nice of them to let me out on the bike anyway, that I settled for about half an hour. I think had I been on time, probably could have squeezed an extra 10 minutes out of this, but also at the end of the day, I've got a few years before I consider seriously upgrading to this, but what I need right now is my Triumph. It's a bike that is a great commuter, so easy to handle in the town, but also a bike that can handle those long journeys, take the occasional pillion.
2 very boring minutes later.
This bike, in my opinion, looks a bit too pristine, and I would either need to buy one that's already been on a few adventures, been a bit scuffed up, or decide that I'm totally going off-road on it all the time. Now, speaking of going off-road, that is something I would be buying this bike for. There's an amazing YouTuber called Raoul, hopefully I've said that right, on this bike. Now, he has the similar level subscribers to me, and I'm trying out the new mention function, so I haven't checked this with him, I don't know what, hopefully I'm doing it right, but Coming up on the screen now, and I'm going to try and do the official mention way as well, is Raoul's channel. Now, as I mentioned, he's going from London to Morocco on the BMW Urban GS, but the nice thing about his videos, not that mine aren't great, of course, is that his videos are only about 5 minutes long maximum, and he'll do normally a few days worth in that video. It's amazing how much you see of the journey without sitting there for half an hour or so. Not that there's anything wrong with those longer videos, I really enjoy them. I'm making my way through everyone's journeys at the moment. And speaking of those longer journeys, you've got people like Saddlebag73 and of course Helmet Head and Richard Thackham, and there's also me and my Royal Enfield, which is a guy called Roger in America, and he's getting ready to go on the trip that he's always dreamed of, and I really look forward to seeing that as well. So, oh, 10 out of 10 this bike. You can see I'm looking at the Speedo quite a lot here. If I zoom the photo in, the numbers look big enough, but if I zoom the photo out, give you a sense of scale, these numbers are tiny, and it's these little things I don't think would make this bike a great commuter, alongside the fact there's no fuel gauge. But if you look on the right hand side of the digital screen, just an empty block. What's the point of that? They could put a fuel gauge in there, could put a gear indicator in there, but no, that only lights up right at the end of this test ride as a fuel indicator light. Personally, I think it's a wasted space. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So we're just making our way back to the dealer now. As I said earlier, this is definitely one of the shortest test rides I've ever had. KTM normally let me out for about an hour, Triumph the same, and that hour starts from when you sit on the bike outside their shop, whereas BMW seem to have a very tight timing structure, and they only do 45 minutes maximum anyway. I found that a bit unusual, and I got the impression that a lot of their customers weren't new customers, they were returning customers ready for their next upgrade. It's just the type of feeling you get. Normally you'll also be invited for a tea or a coffee after your test ride. A great test of a dealer, in my opinion, is what else they offer you apart from the test ride. Do they say hello when you walk in the door? Do they want to show you around the clothing range? Do they want to give you any booklets or leaflets on the bike and give you any further information? Or do they just take the key back and go, okay, thanks, bye? You know, in my opinion, it's really nice to be invited upstairs for a cup of tea, you know, even if they know you're not going to buy the bike, which I had a feeling they knew that here. These guys did ask me for a cup of tea, but the waiting room was too busy for me to go into, so I'll be going back to take my offer. And that completes my test ride of the BMW Urban GS. I'll just wrap up my thoughts very quickly now. Although it was amazing and it sounds great, that sort of soundscape and that weight is not manageable within London. And as well, not that a Triumph is in any means undesirable by thieves, but I imagine if you put this bike in London with its gold rims and with its big loud exhaust and the huge boxer engine sticking out from under the covers, I imagine it would attract a bit more attention, potentially, than the Triumph. Although they're both at risk because even if you get an old banger, thieves are still interested in that. Anyway, this video isn't about them. I'm not going to make this channel full of test rides. This was inspired because I saw Raoul on his one and I thought, let's go and try that bike. And I've seen it as well in other YouTube videos. This could be a potential Triumph Street Twin upgrade, which is unusual, but it's got potential. Used, these are at exactly the same price range and they offer the same lifestyle. For those interested in electronics, this has ABS and traction control and it's got 110 horsepower and heated grips as stock. That little screen was useful, definitely made some difference to the wind, but I would say it's just the same as a bikini fairing and it's more of a retro look rather than a practical screen. Although if I had this bike, I couldn't imagine it without the screen, and I think it's definitely a great move on BMW's part. I love the looks of this bike all the way round. The only thing I didn't like about this bike was the seemingly afterthought of the air intake. You see it's got 3 random things poking out the top of it. I like the look of it, it's a bit industrial in a way, but if you look at a Triumph Bonneville engine, they've hidden it all and everything's so sleek and it's a very clean looking engine, whereas the side of this bike just looks like a mash of parts.
But I wonder if they could tidy that tiny area up with some sort of plastic housing or metal housing or something. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you again soon. Thanks. Bye.